Alrighty, getting this all set up, making sure everything is in place. And I think we are ready to go. So, hello. Welcome to today's training. Today is day one of the first steps to preventing the Alzheimer's and dementia, preventing and reversing, really. But welcome to day one of the masterclass. This is so exciting, y'all. I am so excited to share this information with you. This is seriously life changing. It has been for me, and I know it will be for you too. So I just wanted to welcome you really quickly. If you're joining us live or if you're joining us on a replay, introduce yourself, drop your name, where you're from, all that good stuff. In the chat or in the comments. I'd love to see where you're from, who all is attending, and remember, well, I guess I haven't announced it yet, so there's nothing to remember, but I am going to be having some giveaways throughout the week, so the more you participate, the more you get your name in for those drawings. So, yay! Okay, so I just want to dive in real quick. Today we're going to be talking about the basics of how Alzheimer's can be reversed. But before I get into that, I want to introduce myself because you may or may not know exactly who I am. My name is Dr. Lexi Watson. I am the founder and CEO of Oakley Wellness. Oakley stands for Optimal Aging Knowledge, Longevity Empowered by You. And basically, Oakley Wellness came about through my journey from a pharmacist to an Institute for Functional Medicine certified practitioner to a brain health specialist and holistic coach, which is what I am today. So I'll start with independent pharmacy real quick. So I've have been a pharmacist in the retail or community setting. So I started off in retail, which is, if you're not familiar with the different names for different types of pharmacies, retail pharmacy is where you're working in the community. So you are at, your normal pharmacy, but these are like your big name stores. So like Walmart, your Walgreens, your CVS, your Publix, if you're here with me in the South. That kind of thing. So now I work in an independent community pharmacy. So this is one that is just one store and it's owned by a local couple, and I love them dearly. But basically, through all of this, all my time as a pharmacist, even as a pharmacy student, I love getting to know different people and meeting all my patients, getting to know them, what's going on in their lives. And so, like, they would keep me updated, which was awesome. I loved that part, but it honestly broke my heart at the same time because they're battling with all of these different chronic diseases. You name it. We've got like diabetes is a very common one, anxiety, depression, heart disease, all of that, even just high blood pressure, like all of that, every single person had some sort of struggle that they were dealing with when it came to living with that chronic condition. And then I realized that as a pharmacist, while I was helping them take their medication safely, they were on the best therapy, all that good stuff, they weren't getting any better. So basically, all I was handing them something that was going to mask the and manage their symptoms, really, of what was going on underneath all of that. But it wasn't addressing anything and making it better. It was just hiding the symptoms, basically a band-aid. And all of my patients were still, living with all of those diseases. They were still dying of these diseases that robbed their lifestyles or robbed them of their lifestyles, their relationships, and even their dignity sometimes. And honestly, when I felt the most helpless was when I was talking to people or family members of patients with Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's just, you guys know it's this something that just terrifies people because we can't control it, or we feel like we can't control it. And I'm here to tell you differently today. Anyway, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So I basically wanted to offer my patients the optimal wellness knowledge that they were looking for. And so that is when I became a functional medicine practitioner. I did go through a certification, and I have been practicing for the last several years, and it has been so rewarding. I even try to live what I teach. So I changed my high stress, fast food, burn the midnight oil lifestyle to the way that I live today and the way that I recommend to my patients. So in working on myself, I was able to resolve inflammation I didn't even know I had, and I was able to come off of my ADHD medicine, and I haven't needed it since. So I've been ADHD medicine free for, I guess, three or 4 years now, and I haven't needed it. So the only well, okay, this is a big claim, but I'm very proud of it that I'm now the only one in my family with no chronic health condition. And that is saying a lot. So, functional medicine, root cause approach, absolutely the way to go. At this point, I was really confident that I could be the change that my patients were looking for, with the exception of Alzheimer's, right? So, and this part really hit home for me. Many of you may know one of my grandmothers, Sandy. This is my mom's mom. I have watched her suffer through the slow decline of Alzheimer's, and she is currently in the hospital, not expected to live through the week. So, the whole time that I've watched her go downhill, honestly, I was wondering if I was watching my future, like if I was looking at what my future was. And that scared the crap out of me, to be completely frank. I Sometimes I even just like tried not to think about it. Like I was in complete denial that that was what my future was, but it really was. And especially because grandma's mom also suffered from Alzheimer's, and she suffered from it. Her decline was very slow. She lived with it for 25 years. Can you imagine that? 25 years. That is most of my life. Anyway, so getting off of that, but I didn't want that to be my future. I've been married for less than 2 years, and I want to be able to remember growing old with my husband, like that was, a big reason why we got married. We like each other enough that we want to be there when we're old, and there's no point in doing that if I can't remember it. Okay. So about 2 years ago, I found Dr. Dale Bredesen. I actually have his book right here. It's called The End of Alzheimer's. Well, that's his first one. But reading through that, he basically just shared all of his research of him and his team over the years, where they have shown that they can halt the progression of Alzheimer's. And not only that, but they can reverse it. Like what? Yeah, so Alzheimer's can actually be reversed. It has been proven. There is a way to do this. And it's using tools, tests, and protocols that are actually an extension of my functional medicine training that I already have. So this was super exciting to me. And since then, Alzheimer's and dementia has really become a passion of mine. And so I became a brain health root cause expert, and holistic wellness coach, and that is holistic with a W, because I look at your whole body. But y'all, I'm here to tell you that Alzheimer's is no longer a death sentence. You have a choice, and I have a choice. And that is the best news that I think that I have ever heard, because we don't have to go through that slow decline. We don't have to forget our loved ones. We don't have to forget where we are, who we're with, or our memories of everyone and everything that we've ever loved. Okay? You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't. And so now at Oakley Wellness, which by the way, as of today, is officially open for business. Woohoo! But at Oakley Wellness, I help men and women struggling with declining memory and the fear of dying from Alzheimer's to take control of their future and reverse cognitive decline through my Oakley method and mentorship program. So that's what I'm going to share with you this week. And my Oakley method, part of it I'm going to be going through this week. I did not have enough days to go through all letters, but so basically what we're going to be going over is based on the research and the certification that I've gone through with Dr. Bredesen's team. So I am certified in his approach, and part of that is what I'm going to be sharing with you. So get excited. So I'm just going to dive in. Sound good? So what we know now, I'm just going to dive right in, is Alzheimer's is actually a process by which the brain protects itself from an insult. Alzheimer's is a protective mechanism. Your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to. We just have to figure out why, right? Okay, so part of that protective process is making that amyloid plaque that we've all heard about, that's so scary, and that up until now we've thought has been the cause of Alzheimer's. Turns out it's supposed to be there. Okay. And before I go too much further with that, having too much of anything, even a good thing, can be bad, right? So if we have too much amyloid for too long, then it ends up killing the nerve cells anyway. So that is where, well, that's why we're here. That's what we're going to talk about. But because the amyloid is a protective mechanism, it makes sense that the drugs that they're looking into right now that remove that plaque are actually making the patients that they're testing them on worse. And that is because they are removing that protective barrier before they are addressing or even finding out what is causing the insult and causing the brain to want to protect itself. So that is what we're going to dive in a little bit today. But before I get to that, a little more science. I'm a super science nerd, guys, so just hang with me, okay? Amyloid is actually produced from a molecule called, we are super creative in the science world, amyloid precursor protein. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, but I'm going to call it APP. So APP can be cut in two different ways. So at one site, or if you cut it just at one site, this is one option. One cut gives you two molecules that are anti-Alzheimer's fragments. Alternatively, you can cut it at 3 different points to make 4 fragments that are pro-Alzheimer's fragments. And so to really just simplify this for you, to reduce your risk for Alzheimer's and begin reversing the symptoms that you might already have, you have to minimize production of the pro-Alzheimer's fragments and maximize the anti-Alzheimer's fragments. So what is it exactly that causes APP to be cut in one direction or another, right? So Dr. Bredesen and his team have identified at least 36 different factors that can insult the brain and cause APP to be cut into those pro-Alzheimer's fragments. 36. That's a lot. Okay. So let's pretend this is a roof, right? So if you have a roof and you have 36 holes in it, are you just going to fix one and expect rain not to come in? Probably not. So just fixing one doesn't really make a lick of a difference, right? So this is why no one drug has ever worked for Alzheimer's. This is why. It only addresses one of 36 different things. Makes sense to me. So, that's not to say that medications can't be part of the solution, but they aren't the solution, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about these holes. So not everyone has every single hole, and they won't even have the same combination of holes. So preventing and reversing Alzheimer's has to be a very personalized approach, very personalized thing. And I will be talking later in the week about how to figure out what your specific contributions are, right? So stay tuned, be here for later in the week. But the bottom line is that there is something that you can do to prevent or reverse Alzheimer's depending on where you're at. I am in the prevention stage. Others might already be seeing signs and symptoms, and they might be in the reversal stage, and that's okay. It does not matter what stage you're in. There's always going to be a chance for improvement. You can do the things that we're going to talk about this week at any stage. I will say, we'll caveat that with we do see the most success when you start as early as possible. However, there is no time like the present. Ancient Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree is now, or 20, sorry, I got that all mixed up. Anyway, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, right? But the second best time is now. So all that means is that, no matter where you're at, the best thing that you can do is to take action, okay? And does not matter if you are already seeing signs and symptoms or you're way down the rabbit hole. That's okay. Take action now. And it does not matter. It does not have to be perfect action, right? Okay. I'll talk about that in just a second. Imperfect action for sure. This is one thing that my coach has told me. Yes, I have a coach too. So, but imperfect action is the way you get stuff done. And if you wait for it to be perfect, that's never going to happen. So now I just wanted to share that Alzheimer's is now optional. This week, we will be covering the first 4 things that I recommend recommend focusing on to prevent and reverse Alzheimer's. We're going to focus on nutrition, gut health, toxins, and what is called a cognoscopy. But before I go there, I wanted to check the comments real quick. Sometimes they hide from me. So hey, Kathy, thanks for joining. I'm so glad I got to virtually meet you today. She is a pharmacist in Wichita, Kansas. So I actually lived in Oklahoma for several years, so we used to be neighbors. But yeah, okay. So again, you guys, if you're watching the replay, let's say hey. Oh, Brandy just said something. I have trauma-induced memory issues. Can this possibly help? Absolutely, this can possibly help. It's all about finding what your contributors are, and trauma is part of the contributors. So yes, there's definitely things that can be done there. So Brandy, stay tuned. We will learn more about what you can do to start allowing the body to heal itself. Because, I didn't even get to that part. Y'all, the body is amazing, okay? If you are a believer like I am, absolutely, God made us the way that, he was super creative when he made us, okay? So the body, it always does what it needs to, and it has the remarkable ability to heal itself. All we have to do is figure out why it's doing what it is, and if we need to remove something that's causing that, then we remove it, and we give it what it needs to heal. Then you just sit back and watch. That's it. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about this week with regards to Alzheimer's. So I wanted real quick, let's see. I wanted to give you guys some homework. It won't take super long. So like if you don't have a ton of time, that is okay. This is an exercise for you. But again, if you do this exercise, well, 1, it'll help you later on the road, but 2, it'll get your name in for some of those giveaways later in the week, okay? So, let's see. Your homework for today is to write your story. I shared my story, my why. I don't want to end up like my grandmother, and I want to remember growing old with my husband, right? So I want you to write your own story. You can share it if you want, but I want you to refer back to this as we go through the week together, because this is your why, right? So I will be posting in the group like a homework day 1 thing. So when you are done with your homework, comment done. If you want to share your story on that, you're commenting on that post, you absolutely can. I'd love to hear it, but again, I'm not going to ask you if you don't want to share. That's totally okay. But again, we will be referring back to this as we go through the week. And with that, I would like to open the floor for some questions. So, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And if you're watching the replay and had a question, just say hashtag replay, introduce yourself, and drop in your question, and I'll be sure to answer that either in the next video or just right back. So let's see if we have any questions coming in. I don't think so, and that is a-okay. We have a lot to go over this week, and I'm so excited to continue to share all of this with you. But again, today, you don't have to be scared of Alzheimer's anymore. There is a way to reverse it. We just have to make sure we patch enough of your 36 holes, and then you're going to be well on your way. And I'm really excited to continue this work and to continue to share all this information with you guys, because it is going to change the world. And if you guys have any questions about, if you wanted to get this book, you can go to my website at oakleywellness.com, go to the My Favorites tab under books. There is a link directly to this book. It is a wonderful read. I do highly suggest it. But a lot of this information I'm going to be boiling down for you this week. So, alrighty. Well, if we have no other questions, I think that is great. A great start, guys. And I will see you guys. I forgot. Oh well. Okay, so I'll just say it now. Today is the only day that I'm going to be going live at 1 p.m. The rest of the week, and I'll be posting this reminders in the Facebook and on my personal page and everything. The rest of the week, I'm going to be live here at 7:30 p.m. Central, because your girl has a job, right? Okay, so I will see you guys here tomorrow at 7:30 Central. That is PM, not AM. I won't be here then. And if you guys have any other questions that you think of, feel free to either comment here, post in the group, whatever. We are here to end Alzheimer's and get our questions answered so that we can do just that. Okay? All right. Today's message is hope. It is an option. We can do stuff about this. And don't forget to do your homework, post it in the group, or post done. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay? Bye.